For years, I thought I was an introverted who needed space. I would pull away from people, cancel my plans, close the doors and disappear. I told myself, hey man, I'm recharging, I'm processing, I'm just being responsible with my energy. The spoiler, that's not exactly what happened. I did this because, like many of us, I was taught to keep peace and not to be difficult. So when I felt a deep need to say something, when I wanted maybe to set a boundary or make a change, my brain said, whoa, 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 absolutely not, man. This is risk. We don't want to rock the boat over here. Let's chill. And it handed me a mask instead. It gave me withdrawal. Withdrawal is felt safe at the time, felt like I was protecting myself, felt like I was being the bigger person in the room by staying quiet. But I was not protecting anything. I was just disappearing while the thing I was actually needed sat there right in the corner, completely ignored. I know, very mature and super healthy. Withdrawal was my mask, but there are 6 of them in total. And if you ever felt stuck in an emotion that never seemed to go away, no matter how much you tried, you're probably wearing one right now, and today we're trying to get that mask out. Hey, I'm Mihna, and on this channel we explore how people work and not how they are supposed to work. Today we're looking at the mechanics of getting stuck, and specifically why your brain swaps a real emotion for a fake one, and why you keep fighting a battle you were never gonna win anyway. There are 6 masks in total, 1 for each personality type, and here is the connection to everything we've been talking in the past series. Your mask matches your phase. Not your base, your phase. Remember, your phase is the floor you currently live on, it's your current psychological needs. And when those needs are not met, you not just get tired, you start to wear a mask. And once you see yours, you'll understand why you're being stuck. And more importantly, I think finally you'll understand how to get unstuck. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you keep getting stuck in the same emotion over and over again. You will know exactly which mask your brain is handing you, and you will have a translation guide to swap a fake emotion for a real one so you can finally deal with the actual problem instead of yelling at people. That I actually know anything about it. So what is it actually happening when you get stuck? Here's the thing, you're not the only one who's living in your head. Imagine you have a bodyguard and his only job is to protect you from emotional pain. He was hired when you were very young. Back then, I think feeling certain emotion might have actually been dangerous. You have probably experienced this. Maybe you were not allowed to be scared. People would tell you, hey, stop crying, be brave, boys don't cry. Maybe you were not allowed to feel angry. Hey, nice kids don't do that. Maybe sadness got you into trouble. What do you have to be sad about it? You have everything. So that bodyguard made a rule. He said, these emotions are dangerous, step aside and I'll handle this big guy. And honestly, he did a great job. Yeah, when you were 7. The problem is, he never got the memo that you became an adult now. He is still running the same playbook from 1998, still protecting you from threats that don't exist anymore. He is still blocking emotion that would actually help you if you could just feel them right now. So now, whenever a dangerous emotion like sadness comes knocking at the door, this guy comes here and blocks the door, basically like Hodor from Game of Thrones. He pushes the sadness down and hands you a mask instead. He gives you anger or blame or confusion, something that feels a bit safer. He thinks he is helping, but he's been working overtime for decades, completely convinced he's keeping you alive. But as long as he's running the show, you will never resolve an actual issue because you are not allowed to feel an authentic emotion. You are just wearing a mask. You know this person. Maybe you work with them, maybe you live with them, maybe it's even you. Something small goes wrong, someone forgets to send a document, and maybe a meeting runs late. There's a minor inconvenience that barely gets any reaction or barely deserves any reaction, and they go straight to attack mode. You are disorganized. How hard is to send this email? They think they are being direct, efficient, and solving problems, but everyone around them is thinking, why are you so angry? It's just a late email, relax. And here's the actual thing that's happening underneath all that righteousness. They are not angry, they are hurt. They feel like their time does not matter, like they are not important enough to remember, but their bodyguard would not let them feel any of that. Hurt feels vulnerable, loss pretty much is like admitting defeat. So the bodyguard tells them anger instead. Anger makes you feel powerful, feels like you're still being in charge, and they wear that mask without even realizing. The pattern is really simple. Something does not go your way, and instead of saying, man, that hurt, or am I scared, you start attacking. You critique their logic, you preach about standards, you feel righteous. But the sadness never goes away. You stay angry, you stay stuck in a loop, fighting a war that was never about the project you were working on. If you are in a thinker phase, your mask is frustrated anger, and the real emotion underneath is grief or loss. And if you are in a persister phase, your mask is righteous preaching. The real emotion underneath that is fear. It's same angry energy, both covering something softer. This one is mine. In 2022, I went through a period where I was pulling away from almost anyone. I would come home from work and I just wanted to disappear. I would not answer my phone, I would cancel plans, and I told myself, hey, I just need space. I'm just tired. But that was not the whole truth. There were things I wanted and changes that I needed to make, and probably boundaries that I should have set at that time. And instead of saying any of that out loud, I just went quiet and I withdrew. I figured out that if I stay maybe small enough, I would not have to deal with any of the potential conflict. And for almost 4 years, that was the pattern. Whenever something felt too hard to say, whenever I needed to stand up for what I wanted, my bodyguard stepped in, big guy, and said, hey, do not make any waves, do not be difficult, just disappear for a while and let it itself sort it out. Yeah, newsflash. It did not sort itself out, it never does. I looked passive, I looked like I don't care, but underneath the mask, I knew exactly what I wanted, but I was too scared to take it. And here's the thing about this mask. People stop asking you what you need because you never tell them. Then you feel even more invisible, which makes you withdraw even more. It is a loop that feeds itself. And if you're in a harmonizer phase, your mask is sadness or over accommodation, and the real emotion underneath that is anger. You have every right to be mad, but your bodyguard doesn't let you show it. If you're in an imaginer phase, your mask is withdrawal or passivity. The real emotion underneath all that, it's a need of autonomy. You know exactly what you want, but you are too scared to take it. If this is your pattern, please hear me out. You're not weak. You are wearing a mask that makes you look weak. There's a huge difference in those things. The third mask is the thickest one because it looks like confidence. You know that person who is never wrong, who always has an excuse ready? Well, if the traffic was not so stupid, well, if you had told me earlier, if everyone else would not be so incompetent. That's not confidence, that's a mask. Deep down they feel guilty, they know they messed up, or they feel lonely and they don't want someone to see them. But their bodyguard panics. If we admit we're wrong, we lose. Let's deflect, let's blame, anything but the truth. I catch myself wearing this one sometimes. A few weeks ago, I was supposed to meet with my friends. I showed up late, and when I got there, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, wait, traffic was insane. But the thing is, I knew I was going to be late before I left my apartment. I left too late. That was my choice. Traffic had nothing to do with it. I know, very mature and super self-aware from my side. But my bodyguard handed me the excuse before I even had time to think of it. Because if I admitted I just did not leave on time, it felt like I was losing somehow. So if you're in a rebel phase, your mask is blame and negativity. And the real emotion underneath all that, it's guilt. You know you messed up, but your bodyguard will not let you own it. And if you're in a promoter phase, your mask is drama and manipulation. And the real emotion underneath all that, loneliness. You want real connection, but you don't know how to ask for it directly. And here is the truth that no one wants to hear about it. You are not fooling anyone. People feel the deflection. They know when you're making excuses, and the only way out is to take this mask off and to say what you actually mean. Okay, so now you're probably asking, okay, great story, but how do you actually take off the mask? And here is what doesn't work. Fighting your bodyguard. You will lose. He's been running this show for decades and maybe he's bigger than you. But the time you realize you're wearing a mask, he already put it on. So there's no need to fight him, you need to translate him. And I'm putting a full translation guide on the screen right now. Please screenshot it and consider this like your decoder sheet. Next time you feel stuck, find your face pattern in this list. And if you're attacking someone's logic, stop. Ask yourself, what have I lost? For example, if you're blaming everyone around you, please stop and ask yourself, what am I avoiding responsibility for? And if you're withdrawing and saying, I do not know, stop and ask yourself, what am I scared to take? The moment you name the real emotion, the bodyguards will relax. He does not need to protect you anymore. And finally, you can deal with the real emotion and not the fake ones, the authentic one. Do you remember the guy who kept disappearing, who thought maybe he's just an introvert who needed space? Well, that's me. For almost 4 years, I wear this withdrawer mask so long that I almost forgot how this pretty face looks like. This is scary work. Taking this mask off makes you feel naked, vulnerable and exposed. But here's what I learned. You have been wearing it for so long you almost forget your real face. The withdrawal, the anger, the blame, the confusion. This is not you. This is your bodyguard doing his job. And don't get me wrong, he's doing a great job. He means well. But you don't need that protection anymore. The moment you see the mask for what it is, you can finally put it down. And now, if you look at this translation guide that I gave you, and your thought is, wait, I don't know which phase I'm. I have a playlist right here breaking down each personality type in detail. Find your phase, learn your pattern, but as always, I advise you to find and take the real PCM assessment if you're interested in that. And the next time the bodyguard hands you a mask, you'll know exactly what to do with it. Thank him and put it back in the shelf. And if you found this useful, like it, share it, maybe subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.